So good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. So uh, today I will talk about three-phase thyristor converter. Three-phase three-phase supply thyristor converter for basically for AC to DC conversion. Thyristor also has a name SCR. Sometimes with silicon controlled rectifier SCR. Thyristor. Please switch off your mic. Some noise is coming. Please switch off your mic. Yeah. So thyristor converter, three-phase thyristor converter will study. Thyristor is sometimes called SCR. But before that, I received one question from one student in email. That student was asking me one thing he has observed in the lab. What he has observed in the lab is that when this thyristor based buck converter was used, the thyristor based buck converter, thyristor had a duty ratio, whatever maybe it is whatever the duty ratio, and given an input voltage, the output voltage was not commensurate with the corresponding duty ratio. That means in a standard buck converter, we write this equation under continuous conduction mode that VO is D into Vg. In this case, he was not observing that for the thyristor converter. This thyristor converter where this has a commutation circuit. So can anybody give an explanation why it was not so? Why the output voltage was not following the relationship V naught is equal to dVg? Why it was not exactly following? It was close, but not very close, somewhat little different. And different was in which direction? Anybody has observed V naught is equal to dVg? What you had observed in the when you did the thyristor, using thyristor as a switch, you did the buck converter. What did you observe? V naught was more or less compared to this expression dVg?
More.
More. Good. So why it was more? What is the reason? Why it was more? Did you observe the waveforms, all the waveforms, very minutely? First of all, in order for this voltage to be more, what has to happen? This is an inductor which has a volt-second balance, right? So what has to happen? Whatever the voltage appearing here, on an average, that will be the voltage here. That is the point. So if the output voltage is more, then this voltage is also more. This terminal voltage is also more than what is dictated by dVg. Okay. In a standard standard MOSFET based converter, what happens? What happens? Standard MOSFET based converter, what happens? This is the MOSFET, and this is the switch, and this is the diode, and this is the inductor, right? So what happens? If you turn on, this is Vg. Let us see at this terminal voltage. Let us call this voltage Vd. So what is the voltage waveform of this Vd? When the switch is on, the voltage is Vg. Okay, so this voltage is, I am writing Vd waveform. Okay, this is the reference. This is the reference. So this voltage level is Vg. And if you turn off, that means switching pulse is here, gate pulse is here, MOSFET gate pulse is here, high or low in this status. So you see that this voltage is Vg. Then subsequently you turn off, immediately the inductor current needs to flow through the diode. This has turned off because you are able to turn it off completely, right? You will release that voltage by being dictated by this switch, main switch. In the beginning, N switch was dictating, but you have turned off. You are not saying I am not dictating. You choose. And what happens, this inductor current flows through the diode, inductor current freewheels through the diode because that energy has to freewheel, right? So immediately diode, we can say almost immediately, the diode becomes the voltage. Earlier the voltage across the diode was Vg and it was reverse biased. Vd is reverse biased, but immediately after that it is, I will say, it collapses, conducts, and the voltage on an ideal state is 0. So Vd voltage is 0 when the switch is off. Okay, and it happens instantaneously, almost instantaneously. This transition is happening instantaneously. Therefore, on an average sense, the average voltage is nothing but dVg. This is the voltage that will be nothing but dVg, and that will be the output voltage because inductor will not drop. This point average voltage is dVg, instantaneous voltage is this. This is the average. Vd average is equal to dVg, and that will be equal to output voltage. V naught is equal to dVg. That is what is happening. But in the case of a thyristor converter, what is happening? You see, this is a switch, and you had a auxiliary switch, and you had another inductor and a diode. Okay. Okay. So what is happening here? This is Vg. There is a diode, freewheeling diode is also there. And this is the inductor, and this is the capacitor. Okay, that part of the circuit is like a buck converter circuit. So if at all this output voltage is greater than dVg, then this point potential has to be greater than dVg, average sense. So let us see how average sense, is it greater than dVg or not. So when the thyristor, main thyristor is on, this point potential is exactly like this. On state, the voltage is Vg. This is the on state, and voltage is like Vg, just like that, right? But in the off state, how does it become off? It becomes off if you fire TH auxiliary, because you don't have any direct means of turning off thyristor. So in the auxiliary thyristor, if it has to be off, then you have what you have in the main thyristor. If it has to be off, then what you have done is you have earlier, prior to turning on of thyristor A, auxiliary thyristor, you have kept this capacitor, commutation capacitor, charged with this polarity. Sorry, not like this polarity, reverse polarity, because you are turning off. You have to keep it charged with this polarity. Okay, this has happened when the thyristor main was on, so it was charged with this polarity. So the moment you turn on the thyristor A, you see thyristor A. Why it will turn on? I said, explained, because thyristor main is on prior to thyristor A becomes on. So the voltage across thyristor A is plus minus positive, right? So thyristor A will turn on, and the moment thyristor A turns on, thyristor M will turn off, because the voltage across is, you see the polarity, this minus polarity will come here, and the plus polarity through thyristor A will be coming here. So thyristor main is turned off. So what is the equivalent circuit now? The equivalent circuit is now that it is a Vg, a capacitor, current will flow like this through thyristor A, because thyristor M has turned off, and that way the inductor will be conducting. Okay, the diode will not come into conduction immediately. Why? Because due to Kirchhoff's law, this is minus plus, this is minus plus, this is off. So this voltage is minus plus. And how much is minus plus? 2 Vg. Because this capacitor voltage has been charged to this, it is even more reverse biased. So how does this waveform would look like? It will not fall to 0. It will jump to 2 Vg. The moment TH, this is the conduction time of TH, this is the conduction time of TH main, and the moment you have turned on TH A here, immediately the voltage across this, the Vd voltage, will jump to the level of 2 Vg because of this capacitor, and the diode is not yet conducting. So from Vg it jumps to 2 Vg, and then what happens? The load current being more or less constant, right? This is a constant current charging of the capacitor will be happening, and the capacitor will now charge in this polarity, start charging in this direction. Current will go, so it will fall from this. Capacitor voltage will change from Vg to minus Vg, right? It will eventually stop at minus Vg, right? It was charged initially at this, sorry, this is plus and this is minus, okay? It depends upon polarity convention. So it will then charge to plus direction this. Initially it was minus Vg, and therefore this voltage is then falling to 0. Until and unless it falls to 0, the diode cannot come in. So diode will now come in from this point onwards. So here what is conducting is diode D. This diode D is conducting. Prior to that, this duration is conducting this thyristor A. This is the conduction zone of thyristor A. Okay, so the effective voltage that you are getting across this point is not as it was before. It was earlier Vg for dTs. This duration is dTs, and the rest of the duration is 1 minus dTs. It was 0. So now this is the 1 minus dTs duration, 1 minus dTs duration, but for some duration, very small, this should not be too much, but some duration is there, let us say Tx, Ta, implying that this is the duration for thyristor A to conduct. Okay, and eventually thyristor A will come, the conduction will come down to this thing, because the diode will take over the current, the load current, and thyristor A has now 0 current, so it will turn off under 0 current, and when it is off, you can see the voltage across it is negative, so it is happy to or negative or 0, and so it is happy to stay in that state. Okay, so you have understood why this voltage is slightly more. So you take a volt-second balance of this point of this thing, and you will get slightly more voltage. In fact, I have given probably one problem also in the tutorial based on this idea. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Is there a student called Ayush Pandit here who asked me this question? He must not be attending the class, but he will be asking the questions, right? In fact, when I described this was told that how the thyristor A, until and unless thyristor A turns off and the voltage across the diode collapses, it cannot turn on. Ayush Pandit, are you here? So that's it. Okay, so next let us talk about the let us talk about a three-phase converter. So three-phase converter, I have to draw a three-phase converter, right? So let us draw it. So by this time you understand what is three-phase converter would be. We have to have 6 thyristors now instead of 4 thyristors. And the naming convention is generally like this: TH1, TH3, the odd numbers, TH5, and TH2, TH4, and TH6. Normally, this is the way the convention of the thyristor, at least I will be following that. And then you have three-phase source, right? Let me put a neutral here for my convenience, no other reason, because the connection wise, you see, the connection wise, it is only required to be connected here. Okay, just these 3 terminals matter. What is happening at this end is not so important, but for my for our convenience, sometimes we show that what I mean, that it is a phase voltage VRN minus plus VYN minus plus VBN. This is the 3-phase system of voltage, and this system of voltage is assumed to be balanced. Okay, balanced means their magnitudes are all equal, and they have a phase shift of 120 degree between them, between each other, and this sequence, let us say, is R, Y, and B. This is the phase sequence we are assuming. So it means that Y phase is lagging R phase and B phase is lagging Y phase. So this is the situation. So let me draw the connections, node connections, and the third one, let me take it from this, and This is what we are doing, right? So, so this is the three-phase converter, and we have a load. The load, as you know, a load can be R, L, and capacitor. Then you have already learned so many variations of it and how it can operate in CCM and DCM. So first we will assume that it operates in CCM, because that is easy to understand, easy to follow, and easy to understand. And by this time you must have understood how to handle. If you know how to handle CCM, and if you know how the firing pulses of the thyristor converter are, and you know how to analyze the DCM as well, you have to simply take what is V rectifier, and based on that you have to write V rectifier. As long as it was conducting, you have to connect it to the source voltage, and then write the equation of in the DC side. That is what the method, and you have learned that. Now just the simplest situation we are taking first, that is load current is continuous, and this point, let me give a name to it. Let me call this point, this is the actual output voltage, which you may call it as V rect or VD, whatever you know. V rect, let me stay same, but let me call this point potential with respect to the neutral. This is the neutral. Let me call this point potential VAN, and let me call this point potential as VBN. That means essentially I am saying VAN minus VBN is equal to V RECT, V rectifier, right? So this is what we have in this system, three-phase rectifier system. Now there are a few things you should immediately be coming into conclusion. First of all is that how many thyristors can conduct at a certain point of time. In this structure, how many? Our objective is to produce from AC to DC. So how many thyristors logically possible? It is for the thyristor to logically, how many thyristors can conduct at a point of time? Yes, I want somebody to answer that. There are 6 thyristors. How many thyristors you would expect, given the circuit theory? You will not, no other knowledge is required, no prior knowledge is required. Just looking at the net circuit, how many thyristors can conduct at a point of time? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many?
3.
3. Why 3? Let us say name 3 thyristors that could be conducting. Just give a name. Just tell me the name.
TH1.
TH1. Let us see. Okay. Then.
Okay, TH1, TH3, and TH5.
TH1 and then TH4. Say slowly. Say it is mixing up. TH1 and then which one?
TH, like it would depend on the polarity of the current, I think.
Current is ID I have given.
Yeah. Okay, TH1.
Now you tell. Yeah.
TH4.
TH4. Okay.
And TH. Okay, this one has to be closed. TH5.
TH5. Okay. So 3, right? Let us take 3. Right? You are trying to go probably even more, but 3 itself is not correct. You see, if it is 3, then what you are doing, you are shorting the source. You cannot do that. You are shorting the source, provided it works, provided these two are on. Let us say these two are on, but its intention is not correct, because then you are shorting the source. Unless there is a leakage inductance here, this circuit is not valid. Okay, so this circuit is not as such not a proper way of operating a thyristor converter. So thyristor converter, even if it is a 3-phase thyristor converter, only one at the top, one of the top thyristors, and one at the bottom thyristor can afford to conduct. Okay, and other thing, if they are conducting, 3 thyristors are conduct, that will happen only if you consider a small commutation inductance, when the current has to change between this phase to this phase and so on and so forth. Then then two thyristors may be conducting. When current has to change from thyristor 1 to thyristor 3, then you fire thyristor 3 and thyristor 1 has not yet turned off. So both thyristor 1 and thyristor 3 are on. So then there is a short, I will not say short because that is then shorted by the commutating inductance LC. But LC are very small and this happens for a very small time and then it is clear. The main power flow always happens, and you see that in this situation no power flow is happening. So the main power flow to happen, we need only one thyristor at the top and one thyristor at the bottom. So that could be one, and also not just these thyristors. It could be TH1, then it can choose only TH4 and TH6. Okay, TH3, then the other thyristor can be TH2 and TH6. If TH5 is conducting on the top, then the bottom could be TH2 and TH4. Why these two things I am not considering is then the current is continuous, and then continuous means zero. As such, we do not want to, that is no load, no power is transferred there. Okay, so unless there is a diode, where you are deliberately putting a diode in place of thyristor, if you put a diode, where deliberately you are putting a diode in order to block that, you don't do that. You don't turn on thyristor 5 and thyristor 6 and say I am operating like a diode. There is no meaning in that. Thyristor 1, thyristor 3 and thyristor 5, when you are operating in this way, you allow negative voltage to appear at the load, because that is where the flexibility is, that is where the full range of operation is. In order to curtail the operation, you just change the device. But if you do not want to curtail the operation, if you want to operate in a standard manner, then we will say that operation is such that we are operating one on the top device and one on the bottom device more generally, and in thyristor converter operations, this situation will be that if top device of R phase is operating, then the bottom device will be from the Y phase or B phase. Okay, top device, let us say TH1, then the bottom device can only be TH4 and TH6. That is what is the accepted operation of the thyristor. So this is first part. Then second part, again I request you to think and let us say a little bit predict based on your previous understanding, that how long thyristor 1 is likely to conduct. Thyristor, it should be symmetric. It should not be a pattern should generate. A pattern should come out of it. So thyristor 1, how long should it conduct in a period? In a period of 360 degree, how much angle should it conduct? Earlier, in 120 degree, yes. So thyristor 1 is taking a chunk of time of 120 degree because only one of them can conduct at a time, and three of them should be given equal importance. So thyristor 1 will conduct 120 degree, thyristor 3 will conduct 120 degree, thyristor 5 will conduct 120 degree. Similarly, thyristor 2 will conduct 120 degree, not at the same time when thyristor 1 is conducting or whatever. Thyristor 4 will be conducting and thyristor 6 will be conducting also for 120 degree. So one top device, one bottom device. Each one is supposed to conduct at 120 degree. Why 120 degree here we are assuming? Because the current is continuous. ID is continuous. ID has to be maintained continuous. So ID can either flow through TH1 and return through TH4 or TH6, or ID can be conducting through TH3 and return through TH2 or TH6, or ID can be conducting through TH5 and returning through TH4 or TH2. Right? This is what it should be. It should be thought of. Right. So 120 degree conduction and this. Okay. Now let us decide how do we define the firing angle alpha. Right. Earlier, where was the firing angle alpha? Alpha, because there is only one voltage. Firing angle alpha was synonymous with the supply voltage. Supply voltage was this Vm sin omega t. So 0 degree corresponds to the alpha is equal to 0. The supply voltage 0 and alpha is equal to 0. Our reference alpha is 0 is the firing angle reference, right? The 0 of the firing angle, alpha 0. So it was with respect to the 0 of the supply voltage. Why? Because we got a nice function, ultimately 2 Vm by pi cos alpha, right? We understood that alpha is equal to 0 will give you your maximum rectified voltage. Right, alpha is equal to 0, cos alpha is equal to 1. So therefore maximum voltage is possible when alpha is equal to 0. So this basic idea, we'll keep it here also. We will also try to think that when alpha is equal to 0, we intend to get maximum output voltage. That convention will not drift. Okay, so if that convention we are not drifting away from, then where is that alpha is equal to 0 staying? Where is that alpha is 0 coming in? Again, I repeat, alpha is equal to 0 implying getting maximum output voltage. Output means rectified voltage, maximum rectified voltage. That concept we are carrying through from the single phase to the three phase, right? So in order to have that, where that alpha is equal to 0 will exist, right? Must understand that there are now three phases, right? So alpha is equal to 0 for thyristor 1 I have to decide, alpha is equal to 0 for thyristor 3 we have to decide, and alpha is equal to 0 for thyristor 5 also we have to decide. Okay, once we know that, we know what is alpha. Alpha can then vary from 0 to 180 degree. It is though the conduction, I must clarify, though the conduction duration of each thyristor is never beyond 120 degree, the firing angle range can be 0 to 180 degree. Okay, so conduction duration is 120 degree, not 180 degree. Earlier it used to be 180 degree. Okay, now it is 120 degree. But the firing means the instant at which, with respect to the 0, where you are turning on this thyristor, that particular thyristor, TH1, TH3, TH5, TH2, TH4, and TH6. Right? So to understand that, where is the alpha is equal to 0, and the concept is that you should try to get maximum voltage. So the hint is lying there. The hint is there. So we should sketch the waveform and see where the possibility of getting maximum voltage is there. So maximum voltage, since we are choosing only one of the phases, I should choose the phase which is showing maximum voltage, because other phase is less than that. I definitely don't want to choose that at that time slot. At that time slot, I choose that particular thyristor which is connected to the maximum output voltage. Okay, so let's sketch it and see what it means. What it means is, you must stop me if you are not clear about what I am saying. Right? Let me draw. It will take a little bit of care to draw three phase now. Let me do as good as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is 12. Okay, so now let me draw the VAN waveform first. 1, 2, 3. So let me take it this way. Let me take it this way. This, then take it this way. So this is VAN. 1, 2, 3, 4. VBN will be peaking here. Okay, it will be coming down to 0 here, and it will be peaking here. Okay, so this is VRN, this is VYN, and let me do VBN. VBN is here. 1, 2, 3. Right. 1 2 3, right, and 1 2 3, right, right. So this is our 360-degree. This is 360-degree, and this is V B N, and phase sequence is RYB. Phase sequence is RYB. So now observe. Now observe. We said that we at our alpha is equal to 0 should correspond to the maximum voltage. Then anybody can guess where TH1's 0 degree should be aligned to. Where will be the our reference of alpha is equal to 0 for TH1, right? TH1, I'm talking about this thyristor, right? And TH1 is connected to this R phase, that terminal. So when do we get, if there is a possibility to get maximum output voltage for by firing TH1, at what point should I fire to get the maximum output voltage? This is divided into 30 equal divisions. So this is equal to 30 degree and all that 12 parts are there. So what should be my alpha is equal to 0 degree? In order to get a cosine function, cosine alpha function, the rectifier should be expressed as something cosine alpha. That would be the objective, some k cos alpha. K is something this thing. So that has to be, that means that if alpha is equal to 0, V rect is maximum, right? V rect is maximum. So where should I fire then TH1? Hello, anybody? Not understanding. Where should I fire TH1 in order to get our maximum output voltage? So that must be considered at that firing angle must be considered as alpha is equal to 0 degree. So which one it happens? Where it happens?
At 0 degrees?
No, no. If you fire at 0 degree, you are in this phase. So this voltage is less compared to this one. So if you fire at this
interval, one, so at the third interval,
this point. Okay, at this point, so that your A phase TH1 is conducting here, it's conducting just like this, because nobody can conduct more than 120 degree, and you want to take maximum from it. So then the 120 degree zone that you are selecting, had you selected this zone, where the 120 degree zone would have ended, it would have ended here. So this average of this one, if you take this one, average of this one, instead of, if you take the average of this one, who is more? Who is more? The red one is more or the green one is more? The green one is more.
Green
average of that part. Green one is more. So therefore, your alpha concept of alpha is equal to 0 is lying here. Alpha is equal to 0 is corresponding to this. For which one? TH1 thyristor. TH1 thyristor will consider that alpha is equal to 0 here. And its conduction duration is 120 degree. It cannot conduct more than 120 degree. But alpha can be anywhere. Anywhere means 0 degree to 180 degree. If you want to fire, you can fire at this point, alpha. You can fire at this point. If you fire at this point, you will call alpha is equal to 30 degree. If you fire at this point, you will call alpha is equal to 60 degree. If you fire at this point, you will call alpha is equal to 90 degree. If you fire at this point, you will call alpha is equal to 120 degree. If you fire at this point, you will call alpha is equal to 150 degree. If you fire at this point, you will call alpha is equal to 180 degree. Okay, so no limit on the firing angle. Don't think that the firing angle is also 120 degree. No, firing angle for thyristor 1 can be 0 degree to 180 degree. Only thing is that we are choosing alpha is equal to 0 at the instant when VAN waveform. VAN waveform is that VRN waveform is at 30 degree. Okay, VRNN. If we take the, because we have drawn our 0 with respect to VRN. Okay, but VRN 30 degree corresponds to alpha is equal to 0 degree for TH1. Okay, so I will say if I write VRN is equal to easily I am writing EVM sine theta function, then alpha is equal to 0 when theta is equal to 30 degree. That is what I am saying. And alpha is equal to 0 man for TH1. For TH1. Alpha is equal to 0 for TH3. Where it will be TH3? Look at TH3. This is related to Y phase. So where is its alpha is equal to 0 degree? Its alpha is equal to 0 degree at what point? When? Tell me quickly. When? This Y phase. This Y phase, through the Y phase, you can get maximum output voltage. So through that you can get maximum output voltage if you fire this thing at this point. This point. That is alpha is equal to 0 degree. For whom? For thyristor 3. Right? Right? This is for thyristor 1. This is for thyristor 1. Alpha is equal to 0 degree. Then firing angle changes from 0 to 180 degree as the operation would be required, because you want to control the output V rectifier voltage. It is not that you always intend to have maximum output voltage. You need to do control. You need to control the machine voltage, control the machine current. All that thing you have to do through firing angle variation. And to vary in order to vary the firing angle, your alpha has to be varying, right? So in order to control the rectifier voltage, your alpha must be varying. So alpha is equal to 0 for TH1 is here, alpha is equal to TH3 is here, and alpha is equal to 0 for TH5 is here. This is our reference. Alpha is equal to 0 for TH5 is here. This is how we choose the alpha. So once we have chosen the positive one, now we will choose the negative one, right? And negative one objective will be what? It has to be maximum, a minimum, because the actual output voltage, if you look at it, what is the actual output voltage? It is, suppose you are taking TH1 is conducting and TH4 is conducting, suppose. So what is the voltage? Voltage is, you see, ignore the leakage inductance. You see this point voltage is coming here, right? That means it is which voltage? It is VR voltage. When this point is Rn, and this point voltage is which one? TH4 when it is conducting, it will be which one? It will be VYN. So the actual voltage is equal to VRN minus VYN. When you assume that TH1 and TH4 are conducting. So depending upon that, it is only line to line voltage. That RN line to line voltage means difference between two phase voltages that is coming at the rectified point. So in order to get maximum, what has to happen? This has to go to the positive maximum. This has to go to the negative. This has to go to the minimum. Let us not positive and negative. Let us say this has to be maximum positive and this has to be minimum position, minimum voltage at the minimum voltage. Therefore, what should happen when I'm choosing the thyristor firing angle 0 of the bottom thyristors, applying thyristor 2, 4, and 6? I should choose correspondingly the minimum voltage. So therefore, R phase minimum is happening which zone? R phase minimum is happening in this zone. R phase minimum is happening in this zone. So here I must fire the TH2. TH2 is connected to R phase. Look at this TH2. TH2 is connected to the R phase, right? So its minimum I have to find out. Getting maximum minimum voltage from this, because the actual output voltage is the difference between the positive positive bus voltage minus the negative bus voltage, so that it becomes maximum. So TH2 will be fired here. So if TH2 is fired here, then we also know that TH4 will be fired here, corresponding to this TH4. It is alpha is equal to 0. I should not forget writing that. It is alpha is equal to 0 because other time it will just shift. Any other phase angle, everybody will shift. That's all. 30 degree, everybody will shift by 30 degree. Okay, TH1 will shift by 30 degree, TH3 will shift by 30 degree, TH5 will shift by 30 degree, TH2 will shift by 30 degree, TH4 will shift by 30 degree, so on and so forth. If that firing angle is alpha is equal to 30 degree, 60 degree similarly. So TH2, and then the other one is this one. So this one corresponds to TH6. TH6 alpha is equal to 0 degree. So this is alpha is equal to 0 degree. This is alpha is equal to 0 degree. Right? Is that clear? Is that clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. So if that is clear to you, so let's take. So let's now observe. Let's now observe again. So let me color it a little bit. Let me tell you. This is one color, right? No, this is not that color. This is that color. Sorry, this is that color.
Sir, at any end of time, only two thyristors are like on.
Conducting, right? At any instant of time, two thyristors are conducting. And this color is what color I used? I did use the color here.
Sir, all these voltages value at the corresponding alphas are same. So can't we shift the whole thing by 120 degree?
I mean, how? When you mean to say you will fire thyristor 1 instead of here, you will fire it here in B phases maximum situation. Why?
Yes,
it is
sir.
not connected to B phase. It is not. It will not take the A phase to the load. It has to take the R phase to the load.
Okay.
It has to take the R phase. It is tied to R phase. Physical connection. It has to look into when R phase is maximum, possible to give maximum voltage. Then only it will be defining its alpha is equal to 0 degree there. It has to define it that way. Okay, now looking at this color, you see that it is subdividing into 60 degree intervals. Can you see that? It is subdividing into 60 degree intervals. Can you see that? That means you see the color, it is green. First, this to this, up to this. This is one zone. This is zone 1. Who is conducting? Positive R phase. Negative which one? Y phase. Okay. So I will call it as a zone of let me write it, R plus Y minus, which will imply R phase positive is maximum, Y phase negative is minimum. Okay, so there I will see what is the fellow. Here it is conducting still R phase, R plus, and here B minus. B minus means thyristor, negative rail thyristor will be conducting. B minus implies what? B minus means negative rail thyristor. Who is the B? R, Y, B. B means TH6. B minus implies TH6. So here, assuming the firing angle is alpha is equal to 0 degree, the conduction will be between, here it will be TH1 and TH4, I guess. Yes, TH4. Here the conduction is TH1, TH4, and here conduction is TH1, TH6, so on and so forth, right? So I'll quickly now complete this part. Then R phase is over, R positive phase is over. Then I will take Y plus and B minus. Then another 60 degree zone, Y plus and R minus. then another 60-degree zone, B plus and R minus, then this 30-degree and subsequent 30-degree. So it will be said that it is B plus and B plus and Y minus, B plus Y minus, and here also another 30-degree, B plus Y minus. These two zones are 30-degree zones, so it is coming out again this side, again entering this side, right? So this way the chunk of conduction, and this pattern will not change. You must understand that if alpha is equal to I shift by any arbitrary value, this pattern will not change. This pattern will continue to follow. They will take a different chunk of the voltage from the corresponding supply system, but the sequence will always be R plus Y minus, yes, R plus Y minus, R plus B minus, then Y plus B minus, then Y plus and B, B, then R minus, then Y is over, then RY B plus and R minus, and then B plus and Y minus. So this sequence of everybody having 60-degree, 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 60-degree conduction thing, right? So what we are getting is a periodicity, and the voltage waveform, it is becoming periodic. It will be exactly identical voltage coming after every 60-degree because the values are identical. You look at the waveform, it is so identical. TH1 is taking this chunk of voltage and this is giving this chunk of voltage. Then when it is falling, it is also same voltage. In an average sense, it is same voltage. The green waveform is next 60 degrees giving same voltage, and this is also giving same voltage because it is symmetric with respect to the 60-degree point. The first 60-degree and next 60 degree is identical. Then in the next 60 degree is also identical. This is because now it is Y phase voltage which is coming to the rectifier as a rectified voltage at the output. But this is just exactly same as this, right? Doing the role of R phase here, okay, in this time zone. And here this is B phase in the negative is doing the same role as Y minus in this time zone. So it will be a kind of, that's why a very famous waveform that is drawn in a rectifier. I am doing for 0 degree. For the first time, 0 degree is good, but hopefully you understand that other angles are also fine. So this will be a symmetric waveform here. This is the rectified voltage waveform at alpha is equal to 0 degree. This is what is the voltage waveform of rectified voltage waveform, right? And average value we have to take. Now you are seeing that what good and how much improvement has happened in the rectified output voltage. Earlier this voltage waveform was hardly lot of ripple. It was just touching 0. Okay, in a single phase case. In a 3-phase case, it is lot of DC shifting has happened. So it is almost after this rectification, it is almost DC only with this amount of ripple. Okay, that ripple is not so high. Okay, so you understand now the 12-phase rectifier if I do, then how good it will be with very little ripple, almost like this thing. That's why our DC machine is a very high, conceptually it is a big, it's a many phase rectifier. It happens like the commutation is done during the rectification of many phases. Here we are doing semiconductor rectification, semiconductor based rectification, right? It is a 3-phase. 3-phase is giving you 6 pulses. Okay, 12-phase will give you 24 pulses. Okay, 3-phase is 6 pulses, 6-phase is 12 pulses, 12-phase is 24 pulses. Now you imagine a DC machine where so many coils, each coil is producing one such chunk of the voltage. Therefore, after rectification, you get almost this in the DC machine, because it may be a 120 phase 120 phase rectification happening there through commutation, and every winding is one phase it is producing. One coil, if it rotates in a magnetic field, it produces one sine wave. So all of them are getting rectified and given to the output. That's why DC machine is internally an AC machine. In fact, DC machine is more complicated than all other machines because this has a rectifier in it. But this rectifier is a mechanical rectifier. That time semiconductor people didn't bring in, but the idea was there. Nobody can deny the idea part of it. Only technology improved, some more new things came out, and then it converted into this semiconductor rectifier. Okay, so a lot of good thoughts were there. It's not that all improvements are happening nowadays only. Beautiful thoughts, very intricate thoughts, breakthrough kind of thoughts were existing. Okay, anyway, so this is this, and then so I will quickly do that that derivation of what is the average voltage it will be, and you understand that I did not do derivation beyond a 60-degree chunk. That is what I have to do because all other things are identical. So let me take this thing, the derivation of this thing. So that's why the period, integration period will be now T by 6. Okay, T is the period, T by 6. Okay, and the voltage that we are getting is what? Line to line voltage. Okay, anytime, let us take R phase and Y phase, that part. This is R phase, VR, RN, VYN, right? So the output voltage goes there. Output voltage is Rn minus Yn, so it is 30-degree shifted. So that is equal to √3 Vm sine omega t plus 30-degree dt. Okay, this must be rectifier voltage average. Okay, and integration I have to do from where? 30-degree is our basic 0-degree, plus alpha is the firing angle. 30 plus alpha to how much? It can conduct only another 60-degree. So 30-degree plus alpha plus 60-degree. So 90-degree plus alpha, where alpha is the firing angle. So if you do that, it becomes 6 by 2 pi, right, into √3 Vm into sine omega t is minus cos omega t plus 30-degree, and this is 30 plus alpha by 90 plus alpha. So it will become 3 √3 by pi into Vm cos alpha. 3 √3 by pi Vm cos alpha. Okay, 3 √3 by pi Vm cos alpha. Right, 3 √3 by pi Vm cos alpha. 3 √3 by pi. Have I done it correctly? Cos alpha by yes, cos alpha by 2. Integration. Okay, let me do properly. Okay, so this is √3. Let me do it properly. I am doing. right? So that is omega has come here, d d d omega t, and this is omega t. So this is omega t is equal to 2 pi. So this is this. So this is root 3 pi and sine of this. So 6 by, that is 3 by pi, 3 by pi into root 3 into Vm. This is equal to uh, minus cos of 120 degree plus alpha minus minus plus cos of 60 degree plus alpha. So it is 3 by pi root 3 Vm is equal to minus cos of 120 degree cos alpha plus sine of 120 degree sine alpha plus cos of 60 degree cos alpha minus sine of 60 degree sine alpha. So it cancels. So it is equal to 3 by pi root 3 into Vm, and this is sine 60 degree is half, so 2 and this, so it cancels into cos alpha. So that is the expression of the uh, uh, of the this thing of the uh, right, that is the expression of the rectified voltage. Now let me organize it a little bit differently. So I will organize it differently this way: 3 by pi root 3 Vm. Root 3 Vm is the line to line voltage. This is the phase voltage. This is phase voltage. So root 3 Vm is line to line voltage. But if I want to make it RMS voltage, this is RMS I will write. So I have to multiply by root 2, right, into cos alpha. So 3 root 2 by pi cos alpha. So 3 root 2 by pi is how much? 3 root 2 by pi is how much? 3 into root over of 2 divided by shift pi. So that is 1.35. So this is a well-known formula, 1.35 V line to line. You have to take line to line RMS because this is easy. Most of the time people give 415 volt. Line to line voltage as 415 volt. So it is easy. So 1.35 is the coefficient. This into cos alpha. So this is the formula that, as I said, that we expect it to be a function of cos alpha multiplied by V line to line voltage RMS into 1.35. Okay. So this is what the this is what is the formula for the rectified output voltage. For example, if you put 415, then the formula this gives number wise, it is coming out to be 415 into 1.35 is equal to 560. It is always use this number 560 volt, 0.25 volt into cos alpha when alpha is, when V line to line is equal to 415 volt. That is what people call. What is the voltage you get out of three phase rectification? Loosely speaking, they say that 560 volt you get, because they assume that the alpha is equal to 0 degree. So this is the maximum voltage you can get by in the continuous conduction mode in CCM. In the continuous discontinuous mode you can get more, as you already have seen. So continuous conduction mode, this is the voltage, maximum voltage you can get is 560, and this is always people are using for a three phase rectification thing. So now I give a justification for saying that. Now alpha, now you vary alpha and sketch the waveforms, different waveforms. So next class, or you can yourself try sketching the waveform for alpha is equal to 30 degree, alpha is equal to 90 degree, and alpha is equal to 150 degree. Okay, alpha is equal to 90 degree. How much it should be the output voltage, average voltage? This should correspond to 0. Alpha is equal to 30 degree. How much it should be? Let us do 560.25 into cos of 30 degree. So it average voltage should be 485 485.2 volts. And what it should be? It should be just negative of that. So cos of 150 into 560. So that is because, yeah,
we have a class.
485.
Yeah, class.
You may leave. I'm just a 1-2 words I want to complete. I will leave. So I will close here. So this is the consequence of having firing angle, that you can have positive voltage and negative voltage obtained at the output. So thank you, and now I am closing the lecture.